I think they're a lock to be in the AFC Championship, and I think they get past the Patriots and end up in the Super Bowl this year as well. Yes, I feel like this is Andy Reid's breakthrough year with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I like that everything you mentioned had to do with Andy Reid and the offense and all the weapons and Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, and you've fallen into that category like all the other people around America.
Here we go.
And I blame you for this because you sold on the offense. It's all about the offense. Need I remind you, let me take you back to a dreary Sunday afternoon at Arrowhead Stadium. And where was Patrick Mahomes at? He was standing on the sideline next to Big Red. That's what we call Andy Reid in the league. We call him Big Red. So he's standing next to Big Red. And out on that field was the reason that I don't think it's a lock that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get back to the AFC Championship game. It was a defense that was led by Bob Sutton. They were on the field, and they had multiple opportunities to get a stop. They didn't. They didn't even come close to getting a stop. And everybody wants to say, well, if D4 doesn't line up off sides, if ifs and buts was candy and nuts, come on. You know the rest of the saying. Every day would be Christmas.
Mike Tanier had this in Bleacher Report in January of this year. If you look into the numbers, first of all, the eyeball test tells you he's not the same. Secondly, if you look into the numbers, it verifies it. Highest interception total, lowest TD rate since 2013, lowest passer rating since 2014 in a year of record passing. Dinking and dunking compared not just to he always kind of dinked and dunked. No, compared to the last 2 seasons, he's dinking and dunking. Completion and first down rates on 3rd and 4+, down from the last 2 seasons, down from his career, below league average. This is just what it is. Now, he is playing for 2 things have conspired to make it look as though he hasn't fallen off a cliff. 1, he's playing for the greatest coach who ever lived. And 2, and they've compensated with run game, et cetera. And 2, they've changed the rules in the NFL where you can't touch the quarterback. So I'll refer you to earlier in the season, when Kansas City, who was the linebacker who had him in his grips, had him in his grasp, let Tom Brady walk into the end zone. That's how the Patriots won. You're not allowed to touch the quarterback anymore, favoring old quarterbacks. Tom Brady's still great under pressure. I never expected that to change. And I don't mean under pressure because those numbers are down too when he's actually facing pressure. But in big situations, he's still Tom Brady. He still has the clutch gene and all those things, for sure. But he is much more of a game manager now than he's been at any point since he was a young guy. And by the way, to get a high reading on a radar gun, you can muscle it. That's why quarterbacks at Brady's age are not as accurate down the field anymore. That's why you overthrow receivers, because you're muscling it.
What do you think about that?
Stephen A., you want me to take this, or you want to go?
You know, I'll go first, Will, because I'm not going to be long with this. The fact of the matter is, Max Kellerman, all I have to say about it is this. You did not say there would be a drop-off. You said he would fall off a cliff. That's what Tom Brady is replying to. That's what he's reacting to. Now, you did take back the word bum because you thought it was disrespectful and kids were watching. Fine. But you made the argument. You didn't sit up there and say he wouldn't be the same and leave it at that. You said he would fall off a cliff, which basically meant, you know what? He's not going to be anywhere near what he was. He's going to be a shell of himself and don't even bring Super Bowl championships into the equation. And since you've uttered those words, he's been to a Super Bowl each year. He's won 2 with 2 MVPs. Go ahead, Will.
Well, I think you stole the thunder there at the end, but it seems to be the only argument that needs to be made. Max, listen to me. I'm talking to you. I've sat across from you for going on 3 years now. We have a nice rapport. I don't know that I'd call it a friendship, but we definitely have some mutual respect. I know you place a high value on being right. You should be ashamed of yourself, Max.
Patriots staffer told me early in the week Brady walked into the facility and said, and I quote, "I am the baddest mother on the planet."
Why won't you look at these stats and
okay,
be
so
real
I need
about
you.
it?
Bottom line, bottom line, he will not win a Super Bowl.
He'll never get to another Super Bowl.
He'll never get to another
Super Bowl you saw this past year
so
was
we're
his
saying
last Super Bowl.
that as he turns 35, he is definitely, I'm quoting you here, he's on the downside of his career. I want you to say that.
As he turns 35, Tom Brady's on the downside of his career, and if you ask me if he'll ever get to another Super Bowl, I have one answer. No way, no how.
Tom Brady's just about done.
No
It could
how.
be His next game he plays, it could be a year from now, but he is going to fall off a cliff. Tom Brady is going to be a bum in short order.
Did we see the Brady cliff?
We won't know until next year. What I said was 18 months. Within 18 months, he was going to fall off the cliff. And by the way, when pressed on this show, I clarified it means he could do it through the Super Bowl, but then not next year. He has so far gone to the very end of my prediction. Everyone else won't know until next year. He would do this, so no big deal, right? I'm the only one who sat down and looked at the history of football and saw that no best player in the league, no MVP player, continued at this age. Tom Brady actually did something. He reset the record. What is possible? Now, he is now, at this moment, one single game past the cliff. He has defied the prediction by one game. Every single game he goes out there and performs as he did yesterday, every single time he does that, he resets the record. Are people aware of this?
Max Kellerman, you're talking about Tom Brady, who's thrown for over 67,000 yards in his career. Who's a 5-time Super Bowl champion. Who's gone to 8 Super Bowls. Who just finished completing a Super Bowl in which he passed for over 500 yards. Max Kellerman, clearly wrong for about a year now on this cliff that was supposed to be Tom Brady.
Are we watching Brady fall off the cliff?
Yes, we are. Patriots, I thought, were in trouble before the season. They're in bigger trouble now.
I don't think they're in trouble. I think they're done.
What does this loss mean for New England?
I think it means they ain't going to the Super Bowl.
But they ain't going to do much in the playoffs because they're not going to win their road games. Stephen A. pointed it out. They have 3 losses now, all on the road. They almost every year simply have to win one home game in the playoffs to get to the AFC Championship game. Many years they do that. This year they won't because the Chargers are better. Because the Chargers are better.
He's been on a roller coaster ride since the 4-game suspension at the beginning of the season.
Because the Chargers are better.
I don't trust this New England Patriots team. Had everybody been healthy, I would have picked the Patriots because they were in Foxborough. I was saying that all year. But when you look at them and the injuries that they're suffering, they just don't appear to be
because
the same.
The Chargers are better.
We got a battle ahead of us now. Hey, we need to go win on the road.
Does it feel like the beginning of the end for the Patriots dynasty?
It really does. And I think a lot of that's predicated that Tom is 41. Tom is not the same player that he once was.
Tom Brady isn't the same. To me, they're not built.
Missing throws, though, that he would normally make, right?
And when you talk to Bill Belichick, every time you've heard quotes from him on why Tom Brady's the best, it's because he's so accurate. And when you don't see Tom Brady be as accurate, to me, something's wrong.
Listen, it's over for New England this year. I don't know what happened in the draft and free agency. No one should expect this year they're out of the Super Bowl
in the postseason and win even.
It's over, sir. And it's over not because of just Josh Gordon. It's over because Rob Gronkowski ain't the same. It's over because the multitude of weapons that Brady may have had at his disposal, albeit not big name guys, that doesn't appear to be the case.
In 15 years, he hasn't won a road AFC championship game. They've lost their last 3 dating back to 2006. So he hasn't won on the road, and history's against Tom Brady now.
The Patriots get the ball. You knew who was going to win the game because number 12 has gone so far and above his competition, eternally and on the field at any given time, that he is, I don't even know if he could ever get worse than an A, Stephen A.
They needed Tom Brady to be great. No, they needed him to be more than great. And whatever that is, he was. I've never seen anything like this.
The Patriot way is the foundation for the dynasty, whatever you want to call it, whatever term you want to use for it. It's who they are because it's the essence of how they keep winning.